Right. That's it. We're back to the old configuration. YouTube only. No clever, fancy double streaming to Twitch and whatever else bollocks. It's all trains all the way, and yeah, the train should now be back. You should be able to hear me. You should be able to see me. I can see the stream is up. I can. Well, the delay attribution board will need to go and speak to Restream.io because they're very easy looking UI that look like it was all set up and ready to go. Obviously deceived me because I thought, you know, it's all set up and ready to go. I just need to hit the button. It'll start on Twitch. It'll start on YouTube. They've got a chat that bridges the two, and you know, we're good. We're good. So. I'm going to run the intro again and just pretend like none of that happened. None of that happened. Thank you very much, everybody, for bearing with me. And don't freeze, you shit. And yeah, hopefully let's stop freezing. Stop it. And yeah, I'm going to... Right. Look. If it stops working or whatever, just let me know. But it's on all the old settings now. So if it stops working again, it's been infected by the horror. Well, it shouldn't look like 240p. It should look... It's coming through... It's been sent in HD. I can see HD on my dashboard. Yeah. Maybe that's why what happened when it froze. Oh, fucking hell. Who would have thought streaming something, live video on the internet, it would be such an issue? Right? You know, it's like right right look why is it so difficult? It's so fucking hard. It shouldn't be hard at all. It should be fucking
Warning. SWEARY Train Simulator will include the swears. There are many also scenes of Michael Portello nature, which some viewers, well, may find upsetting. Please be assured, any bad language is down to really being just excited about trains, and it's not intended to offend. So let's just enjoy some trains. Come on!
Just wiping the spit off my beard there. Okay. Right, look, I'm hoping this is working. Please, dear God, tell me you can see what's happening on the screen. Because I just did 15 minutes of this route, and nobody could see it. So I'm going to do 50 minutes of the route again. What you missed out on the last stream, you may see it on the archive, it may pop up in a bit. Or it probably won't, it'll probably just be fucking broken. This is the Gospel Oak to Barking line. We've done this before, but I felt like doing it again. I said before, What I say goes on SWEARY Train Simulator. I am the dictator of SWEARY Train Simulator. I am the Zugführer. I will drive the train. Lights on the train. The emergency brake comes on this train when the doors open, which is interesting. So, Gospel Oak to Barking Line. There you go. Class 172 Turbo Star. The daddy of all trains is in the seat, ready to take us where we need to go. Or, well, actually, he's going to take us to Barking, so... unfortunately, your chat will now be subject to YouTube's censorship rules. What about freedom of speech and all that? No, there isn't any freedom of speech. YouTube is a fascist dictatorship. I'm amazed they even allow this sick filth on the screen. Okay. Doors are shut. Signal's still red though, so we can't really go anywhere, but let's just take the emergency brake off. That's the brake coming off, and now we can go. At 50 miles per hour, and then 20 once we get past the point, and then let's just go, go, go! Go, 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 go! So, yes. SWEARY Train Simulator. Or Train Simulator with my swearing over the top of it. I don't think SWEARY Train Simulator is the official branding. And there was meant to be a new route out for Train Sim World this week. It was due to come out on Thursday, so we could have had a look at that. It's a route we've looked at before in Train Simulator 2018, or Train Simulator whatever. I think it came out in 2014, that route. New York, New Haven, so we could have had a look at the differences and compare the realism of the simulation. However, in true Dovetail Games style, it was delayed at the last minute to next Thursday. And given the state of the last thing they delayed at the last minute for a week or 2 weeks, when that finally came out, I'm expecting it to be a fun-filled adventure of glitches and graphical messing and all that. It is indeed the famous Goblin line, the Gospel Oak to Barking line, which I believe is currently closed because it's being electrified. So these trains won't be running it anymore. Or I might be wrong, or it might be going to be closed to be electrified. But either way, it won't be Class 172 diesels anymore. Yep. So, yeah, the 172 is built by Bombardier, who bought the original manufacturers Adtrans. The Class 170s, that's sort of the prototype, or first member of this class. Well, the class was really 168, and then they tarted up the 168 a bit and made it the 170. They're all similar base. Was originally built in the UK at Derby. I think now they're just everywhere. So we're just going to career along in the industrial backyard of London, in all the wastelands, and we're going to put the brakes on to try and stop at the platform. Now you see that's Bombardier, not Bombardier. It's two completely different things. Well, I've probably braked a bit too soon, but that's nothing new. I was doing that all morning during my driving lesson, just braking too soon and then crawling up to junctions at like 5 miles an hour, pissing off everybody behind me. Everybody behind me could piss off. I was just doing my own happy little thing. Oh, you can cunting swear. Yeah, it's a bit hit and miss. If you swear too much, or certain combinations of words it doesn't seem to like. Or maybe they've changed it so it lets it through, I don't know. Maybe it only censors prostitute reviews. So here we go, stopped at Upper Holloway. And like I say, when the train stops, the emergency brakes go on for some reason. I don't know if that's by design, or if that's just a bug in Train Simulator. It's always 50-50 whether something is realistic featuring of the train, a realistic feature of the train, or they've just fucked making the simulation somehow. Here's Upper Holloway with its porter cabin station office and the ticket machine next door. Hang on. Right, am I the only one seeing a problem here? Is that the wrong way round, or... Yeah, didn't notice that last time we did this. But yeah, that's not quite right, is it? porter cabin whose only access is via a door that just opens into a massive drop. Well, let's brakes off, engine on, and away we go, and let's not worry too much about that. It's not our problem. It's a health and safety nightmare for somebody else. Away we go. Full power. Full revs. The guard has given us the buzzer when we're already most of the way out the platform. Well, good job, Mr. Guard. I can see why you're paid the big bucks. You fucking idiot. Okay, we're coming up to 30 miles per hour speed limit. I think a lot of the line's 30 miles per hour actually. But let's just not accelerate past 30 miles per hour. Let's just stick to a sensible speed and trundle along at that until we have to stop at Crouch Hill. Disused station or something here. Having a little drinky. Like a big old dirty bastard. Of Finsbury Park or of the prostitutes? Finsbury Park in general? Or its paid dating services? Either way, it's going to be depressing, isn't it? I think the station will be just after this bridge, so let's just drift to a halt. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's razz into the station and slam the brakes on. Razzing into... Oh my god, the station's right there. Oh good, the brakes are working. Oh good. Some of these platforms are a bit short. At least because they're designed to take two cars, so there's some lengthening going on as well, I think, to support longer electric. Yeah, I don't know why that puts the emergency brake on when you pop the doors open. I mean, other than for safety reasons, because you'd want to make sure the brakes are on, but still. Still. See, we're winding our way around. There's Haringey. What's wrong with Haring Strait? That's what I want to know. Ha 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 ha. Some prostitute reviews are getting through today. The YouTube's slackened off on its censorship policies. Brakes coming off. And we're off. He was very sorry about it. I kept very calm and said it wasn't fair. A nice long chat in the nude. That's true. I love that. He goes to see a prostitute, gets a massage, has a bit of a chat, and then doesn't have sex and gets told to fuck off. I mean, if that's not a girlfriend experience session, I don't know what is. Nicely modelled tunnel there. Nicely modelled. From what I recall of this route, it is actually quite nicely done. It's one of the more recent ones. Especially this part of it. I think it was only last year or the year before this came out. So there's a bit more going on than some of the older routes. In terms of scenery, in terms of line-side vegetation, and in terms of station and building modelling. So, you know, it's all good. It's a reasonably nice route. I mean, you know, in the scheme of Train Simulator routes and the scenery that Train Simulator provides, it's not bad. It's not bad. Brake. Oh no, I've lost 2 points for speeding. That gold star's just flown straight out of the window. Actually, I don't know how lenient it is. Going downhill rather sharply. Why it's speed. Okay. Bit downhill braking into the station. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong as we pull into Haringey Green Lanes, platform number 2? Other than we're a bit late, so I better get a move on and stop fanning about and to stop too soon. Okay, brakes into step 2, coast up to the stop board, open the doors, and then we'll worry about everything else. So we're slightly late. We'd be less late if the fucking brakes worked. Cunt. There we go. 10 seconds late. Well, what can I say? We're already half an hour late, so what's another 10 seconds between train drivers? £65 to jerk off in front of a woman. That's outstanding. Oh, wow. Right, don't give me... Well, the train's going now. We're going. Oh, that buzz might have been the driver replying, inverted commas. I'd pay £65 to do that, but only she abused me and called my penis tiny and smelly. I wouldn't even do it though. I'd be too scared and probably cry. £20-mile-an-hour limit coming up. Things are getting exciting now. I assume there are some points or a sharp bend or something. The joy of London suburban overground train services. Tight curves, lots of points, slow speeds. But, you know, they can get away with it because, you know, what's the alternative in central London? You're going to drive? Ha ha ha. You can fucking forget that shit. Pay your congestion charge to sit in stationary queues of traffic for hours. Oakley dokley, South Tottenham is coming up. I say coming up, it's going to be about another half hour at this speed. Which makes me yearn for going up hillsides on in a class 37 at 30 miles an hour in the Scottish Highlands. Warning for the speed limit, I think. It's a warning for the signal being red, we're in trouble. That's for the speed limit. Oh, don't drop to 20 yet, you're already running late. Come on. Give it a bit of welly. Keep going at 30 until the last minute and then slam the brakes on. A few people whiplash. Okay. And brake. And that's still way too early. Way too early. Well, this is all... Fuck this one. Never mind. CBT? What, she does cognitive behavioural therapy? There's another one that's a therapist. Ah, I remember South Tottenham Station being quite short from last time. Not a lot of wiggle room too. Ah, put the brake on. Come on. More brake, more brake, more brake. It really is a very short platform here. I think we're just about in it. And we're just about on time. So, here we go. South Tottenham. What is there to see in South Tottenham? There is a junction where an electrified line comes in. Now there's overhead electrification for a bit, and then that goes off over there, and I think we go off this way. I could be wrong there. So here's South Tottenham. I don't know if we're close enough to Spurs' stadium for that to be in, but crikey. Oh, that was a digger going off, I think. That. Yeah, the thing about this is the random shit thrown on the track is extremely realistic for London. A lot of other UK, oh, we are going off to the non-electrified bit. A lot of other UK tracks could really benefit from this random shit thrown on the track modelling, because that would also be accurate for them. Everyone's got their own niche. My niche is streaming Train Simulator on a Saturday night to a disinterested audience and saying fuck occasionally at the same time. Also a warning for the 20-mile-per-hour limit up ahead. We did find true love. Without wishing to spoil it too much, you should really watch the stream because it's an amazing journey. You will not believe some of the things that happen. But it's as well as being an amazing journey and a bizarre journey, it's also a very romantic journey. And I was getting really emotional by the end of it. I highly recommend some Dream Daddy catch-up if you haven't done so already. And that is available under the Horny Dad Simulator playlist on my channel as well. We all enjoy a bit of Dream Daddy of a Friday night now. This is a bit... Well, it's quite steeply downhill actually, so need to keep an eye on it. You crazy fool. Very... Well, it must be for this bridge actually, I bet. That 20-mile-an-hour limit. It's always a bloody weak bridge or something, 20-mile-an-hour limits. It's just going to creep up again as we come across. Maybe they're going to fix that bridge when they electrify the line so the train can go past this line. All the diggers are digging up the... whatever it is they're digging up. I don't know. The road? Anyway, we can go full power now for a bit. 45 miles an hour. Off we go! Like a set of reservoirs or something we're coming through here. Don't piss in the water supply. That would be bad. How are we looking for time? We look like we're about right time, but we can't brake too soon. But let's also not brake too late because the station is right there. He's starting and stopping short. Hops are definitely more suited to electric than diesel. Power. The electric locomotive accelerates much more quickly. It's much better power to weight ratio. We're in London, or North London, doing the Gospel Oak to Barking line. Again. But this time we're going from Gospel Oak to Barking, where last time we went from Barking to Gospel Oak. I think that's what we did. We went the other way anyway, to the way we're going now. So, that's what's happening there. And we were on time into the station, which is always nice. And you can have a treble, 99p, or, yeah, we have the train name graffiti here. So, Kobo, that's a train. Deltic is a train. Hymek is a train. Duff is a train. Genesis is a train. I'm assuming they're all train. Hoover is a train. Mildew is probably a train. I don't know some of them. I can't read some of them. Basically, they're all trains, I would imagine. That would be the conclusion I would draw from that. The brakes are coming off. The throttle is going on. Elfin. Elfin's like tall and slender, isn't it? That's how I get it. But I suppose it could mean like thin nose, delicate features, that kind of thing. Maybe it's some kind of half hobbit, half elf, half breed that he's been nobbing. Maybe that's what's been going on. Probably not, but you never know. You never know what Tolkien got up to in the dark in his writing room. Maybe those notes just haven't been unearthed yet. Tolkien's horny elf fan fiction. Well, I say fan fiction, obviously if he's the writer it's not fan fiction, it's canon, but that type of thing. Mind you, I don't think we need to find Tolkien's horny sex stories about elves. I think there's plenty have been written since he's been... possibly he was afraid to say she looked like a child and that's why he liked it. I think you'll find we did 3 bridges on Southern Belle. Yeah, the railway sort of comes through underneath a load of roads. Don't make me get my weak lemon drink. They can't legitimately describe Budvar as a weak lemon drink though, so... Don't make me get my Budvar. There we go. Doors are open, 13:40, we're slightly ahead of time, good. Although we're not quite at the start board. Oh well, who cares? You see we've sort of curved round now. And here's Walthamstow Queen's Road. I'd be lost without my lobster. That's interesting. Fake branding lobster. I've said this before, but Mersey Travel, local passenger transport executive or public transport executive, whatever they're called, whatever it is, released their smart card and have called it Walrus because the walrus ate the oysters. The problem with it is it's considerably more shit than the Oyster card is. And whereas in London you can just use your contactless debit card now as well, you don't even have to use an Oyster card to pay for travel and you get the same sort of rate when you do that. Up here you can buy like an off-peak ticket on your Walrus card, or you can buy a, I think it's weekly season ticket or something, and that's about it. It's not very good. I would much prefer to just be able to go up to a barrier, tap in, go up to another barrier, tap out, and that's your journey done and paid for. And also a lot cheaper if you use the contactless payment. Case of Oyster. Not Oyster, but same system. So, yeah, the lesson there is if you're going to take the piss and call yourself something that's eats or is better than another system, don't be shit. Otherwise you look like a dick. Well, in Lancaster the buses were cash, but they were correct change only at all times. So, basically, you put your money into a thing that had like, it was like a chute with like a clear window, so the driver could see what was in there and you could see what was in there. And then that just dropped straight into a money box, which like is locked, but the driver can't get change out of it. So basically you can either pay your ticket price with the correct change, you can pay more than your ticket price if you don't have the correct change, or you can fuck off. Those are your options. So, I think that was Lancaster. It was either Lancaster or Preston. It might be both. It was Stagecoach though, and I'm pretty sure it was Lancaster. That's another way of doing it. Leighton Midland, 15 seconds ahead of time. I seem to recall last time we did this I had Wikipedia open and there were some interesting facts about this station. But this time I don't even have Wikipedia open, I don't even care about any interesting facts about this station. Leighton Midland Road. It's a station, it's on a bridge. There is a road with well, there is a pavement of sorts, but not much of one. And there's a brasserie, which I assume is like the eating brasserie and not the bra brasserie. Boobies. Spend loads. Gifts, crafts, toys. A butcher. So, some of these chains are all over the place. They've got massive holdings all over London. You see them in next to every train stop. She went to chat to the dog. But notice that because we are in Britain, nobody has shat on the car's back seat yet. We aren't barbarians. The American paid dating scene has a whole new level of grim about it. Where are we? How much further have we got? We've got Wanstead Park, Leytonstone High Road, Wanstead I've called it, but it's Wanstead, isn't it? Or Wanstead. Woodgrange, and then Barking. Barking. But yeah, next stop Leytonstone High Road, up this hill. Well, I say hill, it's more like a slight upward gradient. I don't know what big graphic on screen means. Does that mean that the whole thing's fucked again or what? I don't know. Is that I should probably brake for the station. That would also be a good idea. Although, probably a bit early. This is another one of these really narrow, short kind of stations. Oh, okay. There was a big sign on the screen. Because when you're saying the bird, you mean Sophie the Magpie, I assume. And it's not that your wife does a separate stream, that could be seen as not safe for work. I'm not sure exactly how how a magpie hopping around in a bird aviary is not safe for work. I mean, oh, you see how doors are just right there. Probably a bit buggered if you're trying to get on in a wheelchair, but just about okay. I'd be lost without my lobster. They've even done a little wanky logo that looks a bit like a lobster claw look. How clever. Waiting for the next train won't hurt you, but being punched in the face definitely will. There go the engines. Off come the brakes. Come on. Fuck off. And we're moving. At least the train wheels kind of roll sort of realistically. Next stop, Wanstead Park, platform 2. Or Wanstead. If you're a Wadda. But I suspect most people aren't a Wadda. Really nice if you're watching this stream. I would hope that nobody on this stream has ever done anything like that. Masturbated. Otherwise I will be closing the whole thing down as unchristian. Ping pong. They do in Lewis Carroll stories. That's what it's a reference to, Alice in Wonderland. The Walrus and the Carpenter. By Lewis Carroll. Christian Train Simulator. Onward, unchristian soldiers, marching onto war. Marching onto war, marching onto some whores. Forward, unchristian soldiers, marching onto whores. There you go. A little bit of banter there for the stream. I'm not going to go full Ricky Gervais atheism, but a little bit of banter there, a little bit of satire of the whole religious thing. Hoping to generate a bit of controversy and get some views. I'm hoping to stop at this station and stop at this station with the emergency brake on. This is all very tilty sideways. Well, we had to use the emergency brake there because I was going on about baiting Christians to get lots of views for my channel. A super elevation here seems like a bad idea because the whole train's at a tilt and stopped at a platform. Ah, well, you see, that's the problem. People come along to SWEARY Train Simulator expecting to be bored. And it's extremely interesting because trains are extremely interesting, and so is driving them. And so is pretending to drive them on a stream. And also, you know, the audience is rather select and very entertaining usually. It's generally just people who we speak on Twitter or IRC, mostly Twitter though, because I'm a gobshite on Twitter, and we all just kind of have a little sit around and mess around with some trains. I fucking don't pay you a tenner each. Even with this stream's appallingly low viewership, I don't pay you a tenner each. You've misspelt stimulation there, Nicky. Yeah, I'm going to say, you know, I don't have a tenner per week to give everybody. Everybody turns up of their own free will. And enjoy some hot train action. Hello. That's it, you're all getting monetized to fuck now. Only days before I launch the Patreon and make huge amounts of money while ripping off everybody else's videos and wanking. And nothing else. Which is kind of what I do now, but I'll have a Patreon open at the same time. I'm not really launching a Patreon. I wouldn't know what to do with a Patreon if anybody contributed to it, which they wouldn't if they had any sense. Hello, Francesco Russo. Welcome to SWEARY Train Simulator. I have not seen you here before, or if I have forgotten. So, welcome. Hope you're here for some hot train action. If you're not here for some hot train action, or you don't like swearing, you aren't going to enjoy this very much. Because that's all I have to offer. 13:52. We're just about on time into Woodgrange Park. Learn to read. Woodgrange Park. If I stop at the platform without using the emergency brake now... stop and open the doors. And the back coach is technically not on the platform, even though it clearly is. I have been completely stiffed once again. And not stiffed in a good way. There you go, there's Woodgrange Park. I wonder if that used to be a station building that has since been demolished. Or if it was always just a fancy brick. It looks like it was always just a fancy brick arch. But there's a station building, but this time there's a way to actually get in and out of the station building. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. Let's get away cleanly and calmly and shout abuse at the woman standing alone on the platform opposite. Because that's what train drivers do. They're all dirty bastards. Even Train Simulator's appalling frame rate in places is still better than Freescape's. If Freescape was running on this PC hardware today without a frame rate limiter on, it would still be going at about 5 frames per second, I would imagine. Just because that's how Freescape rolls. That's somewhat tricky because the day trip will be me coming down to you or you coming up to me on the train and then being here for about an hour and then having to go home again. because of the distance between us. Double yellow signal. Next signal's yellow, signal after that's red, so we don't actually have to worry too much about the next signal. It's the one after that we need to worry about. This one's double yellow, then we're good. Oh, okay. On here, virtually. I thought that was strange. I thought that was peculiar. I thought I'd finally pulled. I thought all this nonsense has finally yielded some action, but no. Rejected again. Oh well. Back to crying alone in the flat after Train Simulator. That is true, it is cold. It's snowing here. It has been snowing here. It's kind of stopped again a bit now, but if it's snowing in Southport, you know, basically the rest of the country where it normally snows a bit is probably fucked. It has to be pretty cold and serious for it to snow in Southport and for the snow to stick. See, this speed limit says 25, but that speed limit there says 45. If you don't meet for real, you can touch Mr. PSB's beard. That's giving me a headache. I think you mean it. He can't touch it if we don't meet for real. Nobody wants to touch my beard. It's like Mr. Twit's beard. It's just got food and birds in it. Bird nests in it and bit. And jism. And if you don't know who Mr. Twit is, you should read a fucking book and educate yourself. You illiterate bastards. Wow, there's all sorts of hot flyover action and grade crossing shit going on here. Not grade crossing, separated grade crossings. That's fun, isn't it? That's fun, isn't it? And we're not getting beeped. So that'll be yellow. Whoa, we are speeding though. We are getting a little bit overexcited coming in towards this buffer stop. We don't want to be doing that. We'll just get the error message saying, you have hit the buffers at Brighton, game over. Blowback, driver incapacitated. Yes, here's barking, and here's the platform that I would imagine is specially laid aside for the Goblin line. Slowing down and stopping at the station. Let the pricks off and go to work. Right. Stop and open the doors, and we're well on time. We're well ahead of time. We're almost 30 seconds early. I mean, we're 30 minutes late, but we're 30 seconds early. The Goblin line. Gospel Oak to Barking line. Goblin. So nice to have a conversation with a girl who has your cock in her mouth. I'm laying that on as a treat. No, this is just what Sweary Train Simulator's chat is always like. It's always full of prostitute reviews and people just wittering on. Because that's just how it goes. I'm a believer in free speech. Even with the censored top chat on. Yeah, I mean, that cuts out some of it, but Wagyu's gonna Wagyu. It wasn't even him that started it, but he's the one that's carrying on the tradition. Anyway, well done, a successful run, and a gold star! A gold star, to go with the gold star I got from coming the other way. Coming the other way, for cruising eastbound. Okay, let's go to Korea. Yeah, I know most of these reprobates in one way or another, so don't worry too much about them, just ignore. Cruising was last night. Cruising is every Friday night at the moment as we work our way through the daddies of whatever town it is that we moved to. I'm not really sure what to do next. Not really sure what to do next because, as usual, Also, you know, being put slightly off by the fact that it fucked. What was I going to do? I was going to look at Mittenvold Barn, I think. Let's look at Mittenvold Barn. And I was going to use that. And now I'm going for a piss. Bye-bye for a moment. No, I'm not doing steam trains. Steam trains can bollock. We've done steam train every bloody week. I've had enough for steam trains. Right, when this loads, it's hopefully going to pause. But if it doesn't pause, then I'm going to restart it. Christ, that took fucking ages to load, didn't it? One moment. He does look a lot like Paul Mason. You would. You'd think it was loading off tape, right? Okay, one sec. I'm going to do another thing now. I haven't done before, but, you know, it's all about trying new things tonight, even if they fail miserably. Yeah, that's the top head and the ceiling because of where it is. Look who it is, right? Look who's here. It's me and it's little teddy bear. Little teddy bear rat. He was eating food, weren't you? He was eating his food. And because of the size of teddy bear rat these days, he's a lot fatter than he used to be. He sort of wedges perfectly into the food bowl and just sort of sits there, don't you? So nobody else can get in it because he's wedged in perfectly. So I've had this webcam thing for a while, and I've been thinking, well, there's a rat cage over there, and a load of just random shit piled up, and my lovely pink curtains. Yeah, he's a big lad. He used to be a lot smaller, but he's grown both lengthways and sideways. So you get an idea of how big they are when you see them sort of sat on me. Yeah, this is the smallest of my boys, really. Having a boggle. Having a boggle. Anyway, so that's the rat interval over with. I hope everybody's had a wee now. I've had a wee, and I've been to. This is why people sort of prop webcams up, isn't it? And they don't look down it. I'm looking elsewhere. Like that. Everybody wants to see that. So this is Ted. The other ones I'm sure will be around at some point. Not very impressed, are you? You're not very impressed. So he wants to go back to his food. I've interrupted his eating time, which I can sympathise with, because if somebody came along and picked me up when I was trying to eat, I'd be annoyed as well. And I wouldn't just look. There's his balls. Look, these balls. It's Teddy's bollocks. Things are getting pornographic now. There he is. Oop, there he is. I can't turn the webcam around. That's what they like. They like to just perch on your shoulder, don't you? Rats love perching on shoulders. And just sitting there and seeing what's going on. But then climb back down again. Right, anyway, that's rat intermission over for today. While Ted's falling down my t-shirt. I will get rid of that. And get rid of Mr. Rat. But not in a bad way, just in a nice way. I'm going to go and put him back in the cage so we can eat his food. One moment. Bad. Right. So yeah, he is indeed Ted Theodore Rat because he has a cage mate called Bill. Bill and Ted the Rats. And I had a Jake, but obviously Jake died, as you may have seen on Twitter this week, and an Elwood, who is still very much on the go. So, that's that. Good afternoon, driver. Welcome on board this OBB 4020 S5 service to Sharnitz. Slight changes have been made to your schedule today as this service has been extended to Mittenwald. Please let the passengers board here and prepare to depart at 13:02. Doors open. Induce enabled, mode disabled. We are indeed at Innsbruck Hauptbahnhof. And it really hates all the overhead lines and all the rest of it here, so the frame rate is abysmal in Innsbruck. Here's our train. And here's our driver. And it's Daddy. He's on holiday in Austria. On a train driving holiday. 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, 1. That's fine. Okay. Forward. I really can't remember how to drive German trains. And I can only vaguely recall the signalling. So this is going to get interesting. For the fact that I've just picked it up at the last moment. But this is the sort of older rolling stock that was used. Last time we did this route, it was the newer stuff. So, let's just see how that goes. Let's just see how it goes. But yeah, it's a short hop over the border, across the mountains, to Germany. I think. Maybe. Not. Oh well, you can rewind and see him sniffing about. Sniffing about. He didn't do much exciting, other than just be fat and climb around a bit and then go back in his cage when I took him back. I've got a book built into the dash. Oh yeah, that's my... I assume that's my timetable, is it? My working order? And it's got like glass over it, or I don't know what. We don't have a green signal to move on yet anyway, so all this impatience waiting for something to happen is unnecessary. Jesus, the frame rate. I don't know what it is about Innsbruck. Like I say, I'm assuming it's the fact that there's all the overhead wires. There are a lot of overhead wires, but given how this looks, would you say that that is a reasonable frame rate for it to have? That is pretty damn poor. Hopefully, by the time we get out of here, it'll be... Uh-oh. Is something meant to be happening? Am I meant to have done something to the train? I mean, I shouldn't be. There's no green signal anyway, even though the doors are closed. Is there something I'm meant to do? This is going to be one of those situations where I can't work out how to start the train. Restart. Starts. Under. On. Oh yeah, no, that is a green signal for me there. Okay, so do I have to go to 100% power? Do I have to go to neutral, put it in neutral, and then into forward, and then into what? Well, this isn't going very well, is it? The brakes are off, but we ain't going anywhere. Is the pantograph actually up? Is the power actually on? Is there something else I need to do? Right, well, you know what? Fuck off. Just fuck. I haven't got the patience to go and look it up in the manual. The train's not going to move when I put the power on. It can fuck off. And stuff. So we're not doing Mittenwell Barn in the OBB 4020 because it's fucked. So you're going to get another loading break now in a minute. Because I had a Benny. You know what? You know what? You know what? Let's have some nice, comforting Class 37 action in Norfolk. I've had it up to here with these foreign trains that you can't even get moving. Maybe it had like a driver thing on, or we are doing a 37. Yeah, we had a little issue getting the steam train moving in Southern Belle. So here we are at Lowestoft, and we're going to be going towards some other station. I don't know, Norwich or something. Some wretched hive of scum and villainy and inbreeding. Norwich, there we go. So we have to open the doors, we have to put the lights on. Sounds like the engine's already on. Let's just double check the driver reminder appliance. Yes, that is on. That needs to come off. Otherwise we ain't going anywhere, but at least we know that. And the reverser needs to be set manually on this one to forward. That's set forward. I'm assuming the engine's on. Engine stop. Engine. Let's just. Yeah, the engines are on. Doors are open. Yep. Class Mark 5 coaches. Whoever thought we would see the day? Built by CAF in Spain. '68 locomotives. Isn't it only meant to be a stopgap though until they get the bi-mode stock and it all gets electrified or something? I don't know. I suspect it's not going to be a stopgap. I suspect it's going to be that for quite a long time. I don't think the electrification is going to happen anytime soon across Transpennine. Now it's been sort of put on hold, inverted commas, i.e. cancelled. Let's just have a quick look around Lowestoft. This is the Wherry Lines route from Armstrong Powerhouse. Bridge Gallery, Bloopers Party Shop, Boot Camp, Army Surplus, Laundromat, Laundry, Volunteer Centre, Toddlino, Alison Earl, Lux. I'm just looking for like reflections of people taking the photos of these because I like it when that happens. Jewellers, Laundromat, Toddlins. Okay, it's time to clag. Oh, it might be Class 88s, isn't it? Not 68s. Or are they borrowing the 68s? I can't remember. It's like they're using these Class 5 inverted commas on the Caledonian Sleeper as well. Eventually. That's more like it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Double-ended clagging. That's what we like to see. One at each end. Shoving the carriages onwards from Lowestoft to whatever the next station is. Alton Broad. Somerleyton, Haddiscoe and Reedham and Cantley and Brundle and Norwich. And then the signal and then shunting back again. That's bad. Why is it so quiet in the cab? That's like nothing's happening. I wonder if it thinks it's the back train that should be making all the noise. Cancel! Fuck off! God damn it, I clicked that. Right, fuck you, I'm not having that. I clicked that, I pressed the button to cancel that. No, I'm sorry, I'm not having it. I refuse to accept that. So yeah, I wonder if it thinks that the loco at the other end is the one that's actually on. Anyway, let's go to the correct end for driving. And just really upset it. I'm not having that. That's just taking the piss. I'm sorry. If that happens after 2 seconds of moving, then I'm gonna fucking restart, alright? In a rage. Right, reverser is on forward. DRA is off. Good. 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 Oh well. What can I say? I get performance anxiety if there are too many people watching. If I haven't given them all £65 each to watch me wank off over trains, then I just feel like I'm stealing from people. I'm going to get a really old car with real clag noises blasting away. I'm going to get an old Land Rover like my dad drives, or drove. He doesn't really drive anymore. Clag that. That's proper clag. That's proper industrial, agricultural engine sound. Never mind comfort, practicality and reliability. Fucking Talbot. Good God. There goes a whistle. Here comes the clag. Even if we're only going to be able to see the clag from outside the train, apparently. Or hear the clag. Well, we can only see the clag from outside the train, but we can only hear the clag as well. Excuse me, outside the engine, I'm burping like a bastard tonight. You do not put British Rail logos on a car. That's just disrespectful. Put my head out the side. Ah, put my head out the side, we get the clagging. But also, if I put my head out the side, that's when we miss the emergency, the AWS warning. Oh, God knows what it was for. Was it for a signal or what? It's like the loco on the back is basically doing all the work. But then you stick your head out the side, and you've got the sound of the loco doing work there. So it's not right there, is it? So what is it? Ah, it's warning us because that signal's at caution. There we go. We managed to cancel it, but we do need to brake quite hard for the next signal, which is going to be at danger, or the like. And if it's a danger, I'm not sure the train's going to stop in time for it. And we may be in trouble here. Or is it just one of these, we're just trying to slow you down a bit, matey boy? There's not even a signal there. Is that for me? It shouldn't be for me. Oh well. On the wrong side of the track if it's for me. Then again, it's facing the right way for me, so... Well, I assume that was just to bring my speed down a bit for the points or something. Whatever it was for, it's messed me right up. We're going too slow now. But then again, we've probably got about the right speed to stop at the Alton Broad North Platform 1 station. In my younger days, when I was younger, my grandfather had a Talbot Horizon hatchback, and then when he got his new car, he passed that on to us, and that was like our family's second car. Oh, I have some experience of a Talbot Horizon. This car was red, so we referred to it as Grandad's red racing car. However, it was not Grandad's red racing car. It was, well, it was Grandad's car, but it wasn't a racing car. It was a little hatchbacky type car. The racing wasn't really its thing. The thing I remember vividly about this Talbot Horizon is the time when the exhaust kind of corroded and kind of broke off in the middle and was hanging down, dragging along the road while we were driving along, and obviously then the muffler, silencer, whatever you want to call it on a car is out of the loop. So it did sound a bit like a racing car, but it definitely wasn't one. I'm way too far back on this platform. I'm not even nearly in the platform properly. I'm wittering on about Talbot cars. Never mind. Never mind. I'm not going to lose any points for that. I'll just explain to the delay attribution board. I was talking about Talbot cars while live streaming myself driving a train on YouTube, and they'll be fine with that. Okay. And brakes off, and locomotive power on. The brakes on this thing come off and stay off at 15%, so don't worry too much about that. They're not actually on, they're off. Alton Broad North Station, it's all very nice and nicely modelled. Nice signal box there. And away we go as I bash my head against the signal box as we move onwards. He did ask me if we were doing trains tonight, or if I was doing trains tonight. And I told him that yes, but I also told him that it probably would be steam trains, so he's probably not here because he wanted steam trains. Or he's just doing something else. So I will see him tomorrow, no doubt. My other car is an APT that is in the workshop for repair because it has broken down yet again. I mean, I'd like to lie and say the APT was a reliable train, but we all know that that's not the case. Otherwise, we'd all be riding APTs today. Ooh, it takes a while for that power setting to change. I don't even know if he knows I'm doing that, or if he does, he avoids them. Maybe he just doesn't want to see his son getting it up on YouTube for clicks. I only do it obviously to bring in the money for the stream that I get millions of pounds for. Funny thing with trains, there are increasingly stringent emissions regulations, which is what's done for the massive amount of Class 66s being imported from the USA. But trains that were built before the regulations came in don't have to follow them. So locomotives like the Class 37 get away with massive clouds of clag. But newer trains have much more strict emissions standards. And the same is true in the US as well. Trains have increasingly strict emission standards. But because trains are huge pieces of capital expenditure, they have probably quite wisely decided existing trains don't have to suddenly be retrofitted with new engines and exhaust systems and so on. Bloody hell, this track's a bit bumpy tonight. What's going on there then? It's trains are bloody all over the place. Bouncing around like a big bastard. I suppose Norfolk's fairly easy to model because it's just, you know, flat fields, grass or crops. Let's ease off the throttle a little bit. Yeah, you get rain and snow and stuff. Quite a lot of the previous runs we've done are in the UK have basically been grey and raining. Yeah, that piece of, or the films of that piece of track are astonishing. That would be seen to be a reasonable thing for a train to be taken over. The track is basically all over the place. If you haven't seen it, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, it's quite an astounding piece of footage of seeing this freight train with these huge cars loaded with freight containers sort of bumping its way along this track that's not flat in the slightest, not even nearly flat, just a mess, essentially. I think my left mouse button's playing up again. It's definitely being a bit sticky. Not letting me click on things. It might just be the well, that works. If that works and that works, why isn't clicking the buttons working? It might be Train Simulator that's being a dick after all. It wouldn't be the first time, and it probably won't be the last time. I don't even know when we're meant to be into Somerleyton. Or Somerleyton, however it's pronounced. Reading to Stockport? No. I think the closest we've got is the West Coast Main Line via the Trent Valley, which is Rugby to Stafford. I don't think I've got anything with Stockport in. No, I can't think of any routes I've got that have Stockport. Sorry, gutted. You'll just have to wake up in a cold sweat having dreamt about the commute instead of seeing it replayed on Train Simulator. Here we are at Somerleyton. Somerleyton has some skips. It has a phone mast or signalling radio mast. It has some fields. And it has some boats. That's about it. And like a house. Ah, lovely Voyagers with their toilet smell and their half as many seats as the trains they replaced. That's better. That's a much better sound. A much, much better sound. I mean, not get too enthusiastic though, because there's a 30-mile-per-hour limit here. Is there a swing bridge or something? I think there is. There is. That's quite a generous speed limit over a swing bridge. You know, all the Scottish ones, it's like 5 miles per hour over them, so this one's a bit more robust than the other ones. I seem to recall on this, because we're loco hauled, there are some other speed limits as well over bridges. This is a perfectly pleasant sunny evening run. I assume it's the summertime. Lovely clag. There goes the environment. Well, you see, if I'm not providing facts, somebody else will step into the breach, and Wagoo is here to give us a Somerleyton Hall fact. The Antiques Roadshow was recorded there on the 10th of September. 2009. Well, to be honest, if you weren't breathing in diesel fumes, you'd be breathing in the smell of cow shit, wouldn't you? So, swings and roundabouts, whoop into the second man's seat, whoop into the driver's seat. This is where they filmed that train episode of Interceptor, Chinny, on these lines. I don't think it was this one, I think it was a different one. It was the other branch of it that goes through a different part, I think. But it was this area. We discussed that before when they were on the train in Interceptor. But the train was like 800 years old and that. Yeah. This area. When we stop at this Haddiscoe station in a minute, yeah, the mouse is definitely playing on. Nice staggered platforms. Is there a level crossing, or just a foot crossing there? I don't know what we're actually like for timing, because these aren't timed stops. Reason. No, we're doing the old double platform thing, are we? Just to confuse the shit out of me. Oh yeah, there is a... Oh, that must be the old platform then, before they staggered it. And grind to a halt with one coach in the platform. One coach is all you need in the platform. Not even asked me to open the doors, has it? I've just stopped here. I haven't even popped the doors open. Oh, there is a door open. So the idea of the staggered platforms is so you don't basically stop across the crossing, be it car or foot. But obviously, with a train this long and a platform that short, that's not going to happen. If you yeah, Burnley Arms. That was it. So I was going to show you on the map. I was going to show you on the map. Come on, map. I have to do that. So yeah, there's like there's Yarmouth up there, Lowestoft we've just come from, and the Burnley Arms halt is up here somewhere, I think. Or is it down here and we've gone through it? Well, wherever it is, it's around somewhere. Let's just get going and worry about where it is another time. So yeah, there you go. This is the general area anyway. It's that kind of scenery, even if it's not necessarily that exact station that we've come through. Remember where Burnley Arms halt is on this triangle? Is it there? There it is. But that's the intercept station. So it would have been a train from Yarmouth down towards Norwich, down this bottom part of the loop. It's only super impressive because we've done this before. Normally, I don't research things as much these days, and we just go with it. And somebody else will go look up on Wikipedia and paste into the chat, and I'll go, oh, okay, that's cool. I used to make a big thing of researching, but I've been very, very lazy in the past few times. I've just loaded Train Simulator and off we go without thinking too much about it. Nice bridge there. Have I successfully identified a bridge? It's actually quite pleasant round here, even in train, in Train Simulator terms. It's summertime, the sun's out. It's a nice, pleasant evening. We're having a thrash and a clag along the Norfolk Road. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying some hot train action, Mr. Retro Resolution, and I hope you enjoy the archive streams and that you come back for more if you enjoy such things. It is and it isn't. It's showing its age, we'll put it that way. Train Sim World is a lot more detailed and higher resolution. It really kind of shows. But for a 2009 era game, which is what the engine originally dates back to, with a bit of overhaul in the last 4 or 5 years, it's not so bad. It could look worse. It could look like Microsoft Train Simulator looks. Which, everybody's very excited about how accurate its simulation is or how much better it is than this, but at the same time, it's a bit too rough. It kind of gouges, yeah. Obviously, in the world of Chinny 2009, it was released yesterday. The last Train Simulator that I played with Chinny was at like 1 frame per second. Yeah, I haven't done Train Sim World for a bit, but I might do the new US route next week on it, seeing as that's just been released. Because the fact that it's just being released means it'll probably be in quite an amusing state in terms of glitches and bugs and general shitting. So, general shitting? The one criticism I do have of Train Sim World is they haven't modelled the toilets correctly. So the trains with toilets, you can't actually go in the toilet and have a go on the toilet. You just pass past a door that says toilet. We're a little bit late into read them at the moment. I'm assuming this trying to use just for the points or something, and it's not actually that extensive. But if I'm wrong, then we're going to be quite late, because I slowed down quite heavily there. Well, the thing with Train Simulator is, certainly this train simulator, the newer one's not much better. It's very, very poorly optimised. Or if it's not poorly optimised, it's doing an awful lot with the graphics card that isn't visible on the screen. So this is running on a 980 Ti, which you would think would basically absolutely destroy something that looks like this. But I don't know if... I can't remember if you were here when I just started off at Mittenwald Born and got messing with the Mittenwald Barn route and then got annoyed at Innsbruck because I couldn't make the train move. But certain things give the engine real problems. And it isn't really the graphics card utilisation coming on the low. It's not Bitcoin mining. It's been like this since long before Bitcoin ever was created or mined. Or it is just for this type curve, this 20 mile per hour stretch. Oh, and the swing bridge as well. Yeah, so the engine isn't the greatest in terms of optimisation and ability to display things. Some routes are better than others because some routes are sort of sparser than others in terms of detail. As you can see, this is quite nicely modelled as far as train simulator routes go, if you've seen any of the other ones before. So here we go, just coming up and over the swing bridge with our Class 37s and coaches. I was going to say Mark II coaches, but I might be wrong, but I think they are Mark IIs. Actually, I think I am right there. They are Mark IIs. I should have more faith in myself. I should have more confidence in myself. There we go, over another swing bridge. This is all very pleasant and nice. A lot more pleasant and nice than the UK usually is. It's usually grey and raining and miserable. Well, like I say, some routes are better than others. As far as the modelling of the actual train externally goes, and the cabs, they're pretty good at that usually. Some of the Chinese trains are a little bit rough and ready in terms of the internal cab modelling. And makes me wonder if anybody's actually ever seen one of those trains inside before. But it's usually fairly reasonable. It's workable. I have no issues with it. It's functional. And occasionally you get the odd bit of countryside scenery and it's really nice. You know, even I have on occasion exclaimed that this is quite nice. Yes. The speed limit's gone up to 60, but it's about to go down to 20 again, so I don't think there's really much point me exploring it in any meaningful way, shape or form. Even if that does mean I'm probably going to be slightly late into Reedham. But Reedham can piss off. No, Chinny just lives like in the middle of nowhere, effectively, I think. He has to download things over 2 tin cans and a piece of string connected to the exchange 10 miles away. I'm using OBS. PC's alright, but it's not probably a full streamer PC. I'm using the graphics card NVENC thing, which apparently is terrible and is rubbish and nobody should use it. You should use your CPU to encode. But I just use NVENC because I'm a lamer noob streamer. If I had more CPU cores, it's only I say only inverted commas. It's a 4-core CPU rather than a 4-core with hyper-threading. So yeah, I find the 980 Ti does all the VR stuff nicely as well. I should fucking hope so, to be honest, because it's quite a hefty card, even in the days of the 1080 and the 1080 Ti. Sort of tempted by the 1080, but then I thought, actually, I'm not playing as many PC games as I used to, and like, I mostly just play Train Simulator, and it's not going to help with that much, because it's much more engine-based failure than graphics card being slow. That was a very late stop. I'm about a minute late. Laughing about slowing down, like some sort of fool. Yeah, but I find that using the NV encoder, the NVIDIA's built-in hardware encoder on the chip, people say it's lower quality, and you know, I've seen side-by-side comparisons, and maybe it is a bit, but it means I don't have to worry too much. It streams fairly well. I mean, the thing that's... Yeah, I think the thing that stopped me streaming before was the fact that I just had a sort of standard ADSL internet connection rather than the fibre internet with a faster upload. So, you know, I used to have like a 1 meg upload, which wasn't really doable. Now it's about 14 or 15. Yeah, I don't know if the 570 has the NVENC block. I don't think it does. I think was it like the 700 series that brought that in, or certain parts of the 700 series brought that in. So I'm not sure when it was introduced. But yeah, NVENC is basically because there's a specially dedicated part of the graphics chip doing that doesn't do anything else but encode the video. It doesn't really give you any performance hits at all. If it does, it's very minor. You know, I've not really noticed any performance hit when I've been streaming with OBS using that NV encoder setting, so it's really handy for that. High Speed 2 ever gets built, and then somebody ever builds it in Train Simulator, I'm sure we can have a go on High Speed 2. 12 meg up is plenty for streaming. Yeah, and that's only for the next model up, because of coin mining, cryptocurrency mining. I've just headbutted the microphone then with my headphones. GPU prices are still slightly crazy at the moment, even though the crypto market keeps crashing and bringing them down a little bit. It just takes off again and then they go up again. It's a bit of a mess, GPU purchasing. And then Nvidia are just sitting and wanking and laughing at the amount of extra money they're getting. I'm sure AMD are to an extent as well, from people paying over the odds for these cards because they're in short supply. Cantley, with its famous Cantley cement plant. I only know that because last time we did this route I looked up what that big plant was, and it's a cement plant, concrete plant, whatever you want to call it. Cool. Yeah, I get 15 or so up on average. I tend to stream at about 8 up to give it a load of headroom just in case things go wrong, and that seems to work okay. Yeah, Wagoo's pulling faces because he's probably got a gigabit down and up or something. And Peter as well, if he's in the chat, being in Sweden, also has ridiculous internet speed in both directions. When I say, you know, I've got faster internet, it's like, yeah, but not compared to the rest of Europe, mostly. Yeah. So, don't talk to Wagoo about saying I've got fast internet because he's a prick and he has really fast internet. Best of luck. I mean, it's nice, good fun having a beefy 5100. You should move to Switzerland. Move to Switzerland for your gigabit. But that's still comfortably more than about 99% of people in the UK, apart from those souls lucky enough to be in a Virgin Media area where they have the sort of trialling one of the 250 down, whatever it is up. Never lived in a Virgin Media cabled area. Came close to it when I was a student in 2002, but we could only get BT ADSL because for some reason our like street and the block of houses we were in, like a little block of streets, wasn't cabled. Everywhere else surrounding it was. So like all our other student people who were living in the same sort of area, when you all had Virgin Media fast internet cable, we had BT 512 kilobyte ADSL. in 2001, 2002, and that was £30 a month. So in many ways, over the last 18 or so years, internet access has come a long way in places where it's available. Having said that, there is still poor souls like Chinny who lives in places, like he says, where if the weather changes, his internet goes down by a megabit per second, and the best he could ever expect is about 3.5 megabits on ADSL. Yeah, basic. Well, not even easy to install. It's in places where there's enough people that they think are going to buy ADSL or fast fibre services. So basically, the little villages in the middle of nowhere that are miles from anywhere are both. There aren't enough people living there to make it viable for them to put it in, and also it's more expensive than to go and put it in. Yeah. So, and I think what's the Ofcom definition of broadband internet? It's got to be about 2 megs and above, isn't it? Something like that at the moment. So they can say things like, "Whoops, I'm speeding. I'm reading the chat and not looking at the train. That's bad behaviour." Oh no, there go all my points. Well, that's just the way it goes, isn't it? It's a lottery. It's a postcode lottery. But yeah, there's these figures bandied around saying, "Oh yes, 90 whatever percent of people have broadband internet." How is that defined? Oh, it's like over 2 meg. Well, these days, the way websites are and stuff, they assume you have a little bit more than 2 meg. YouTube video downloading needs a little bit more than 2 meg to do it at anything more than 240p. And you know, back in the day, going through stop my head busting the microphone. Back in the day, first year at university, 10 meg Janet connection. Fucking hell, amazing. Second year at uni, no internet at all in the place we were in. Third year, 512k ADSL, which is still better than a 56k modem. Nearly 10 times better than a 56k modem. As I'm coming up to a station here, but it's also, I don't have a stop order to stop at it. I'm nowhere. Yeah, it says Brundle's over this way, so I'm not stopping. It can fuck off. That Dream Daddy theme tune, it gets into your head and then it gets into your soul. There's no escaping it. So, sorry Neil, I meant to reply to you now I finished ranting about broadband in the UK. Yes, at the end of Dream Daddy we got the good ending for Damien. He found himself being much more comfortable around us, and we were all lovey-dovey, and he was good. And then we got the special picture at the end of him sitting in a graveyard, being excited. Well, I only got uni internet in the first year because I was in halls of residence, and they had like, you could pay, I think it was 30 quid for the year or something, so you had to pay for it, but it was like 30 quid for well, not a year, but like 9 months or whatever of 10 megabit internet, which coming from a 56k dial-up modem at home that you got shouted at for using, tying up the phone line. Then basically I spent the entire year sitting on the internet playing Quake 3 Fortress, Quake World in Fortress, Quake 3 Fortress, and other games, and shit posting on Alt Digitizer. So one thing I couldn't get was Digitizer actually in halls because we didn't have a teletext TV. You had to have a TV license to have a TV in your room, so, well, you were meant to have, but obviously that didn't generally happen. But yeah, so obviously, you know, using the university internet for the purpose which it was designed for, illegally downloading music, because it was the era of Napster just kicking off as well about that time, and what else was it? Kazaa was kind of around that time. There was another one as well. I think Mule, Donkey, something like that. I can't quite remember what it was. Yeah, all the sort of illegal music download. Audio Galaxy as well, that was a good one. Oh, fucking Audio Galaxy, man. Fucking Audio Galaxy. And of course, all night IRC and playing loud sound effects to see if I could wake up anybody who also left their PC on all night with the volume turned on at university, or just in general. It was a weird kind of crew. We all kind of sort of grew up almost together from 16-ish onwards. Just posting shit on the internet and messing about and generally being silly. Yeah, exactly. Spinning on the end of your willy. Here we are at Brondal. We're about 30 seconds late. But that's fine. What's 30 seconds between friends when the stream's already 30 minutes late? It's Brondal. Martin Brondal, a Formula 1 driver. Nice station building there. Old-fashioned manual level crossing there. So, I don't know if the crossing keeper around. Less old-fashioned, like, piece of machinery. And is that a boat? She'd be fine with it. I mean, it's not Grokster possibly. Yes, I remember Grokster. It's that kind of thing. I don't think your girlfriend would mind because you're not looking at other women, so it's fine. You're looking at other men. There's nothing to worry about there. It's perfectly healthy to have a curious interest in dating other daddies and the love, the wholesome love between two men. Let's just honk the horn for shits and giggles. Next stop is Norwich in 5.71 miles. Yeah, you should watch it together as an activity. Oh my god. Right, if I wake up tomorrow to a load of tweets or direct messages from you saying you've broken up with your girlfriend because you watched my Dream Daddy stream, one, I'm very sorry, but two, I'm going to use it as publicity forever. So just think before you tweet me because I will use it to advertise. Wow. Yeah, I mean the Dream Daddy thing, right, there is... What I would say is about Dream Daddy is, first of all, there is nothing explicit about it. It's on Steam. Oh, it's that kind of a relationship, is it? Yeah, I remember that kind of a relationship. Oh boy. It's on Steam, so first of all, the fact that it's on Steam means there's nothing explicit. You are not going to see anything going into any orifice if it's on Steam. Second of all, it's very well done. It's very, very well done. It's very silly games, yes, but it's quite crafty with this. With it, it's quite memey, but not in a cringy way. And the writing is quite cunning. Quite cunning. So I think you know you might enjoy it. Certainly the Friday live stream with some of the other crew that turn up. From the whole Mr. Biffo found footage axis of evil. Yeah, well, Chinny doesn't like it, but everybody else likes it. Like Nicola and Sam comes along sometimes, and the other one occasionally pops in as well. You know, we just sort of get together and enjoy some daddy action. So. But what I would say is about Dream Daddy, Chinny's saying basically it's horrendous, but as I've said on that stream, it is absolutely nothing. It is vanilla. It is beige. It is flavourless porridge made of porridge. It is milk, bread. It is bread gruel made with water. It's that sort of bland and flavourless compared to the worst possible visual novels out there. They generally originate in Japan because that's where the form sort of comes from originally-ish. But oh my god, some of the things you will see or experience in a proper, inverted commas, Japanese visual novel game. It's not even the same genre. So, basically what I'm saying is, if you have an issue with Dream Daddy and it messes with your head, you ain't seen nothing. And to be honest, I ain't seen nothing. I've just seen the very fringes of it. But there are games out there with titles like Suck My Dick or Die, or The Gang Rape Club, which you would not believe. First of all, a game would be released like that. Second of all, that anybody would translate such a game. And third of all, that it would be downloadable in the West without a lengthy prison sentence. So, you know, there are worse things out there than Dream Daddy. Dream Daddy is a very wholesome simulation about dating some dads. Sure, there is some implied sex in it on Joseph's sex shop, but yeah, I mean, Peter's introduced me to the world of Japanese visual novels. Thank you, Peter, for that. I now understand just how horrific things could be. And yeah, Dream Daddy is very, very mild and safe in comparison to some of the things that happen. One of the ones I have played called School Days. There's one on Steam called what's it called? Fruit of Grisaya. Can't work out how to pronounce it. I know it's written. And they go into some fucking dark places. And they're not even the worst of it. So there's a lot of entertainment out there if you like things fucked up, is what I'm saying. If you only go and just have a bit of a look. Anyway. Dream Daddy is lovely. I would recommend, if you wanted to play it, that you buy it and play it. Don't give it a second thought, get it bought. But if you just want to experience it and experience the madness, and I've taken to streaming it of a Friday night, so do come along and enjoy that as well. Slightly different feel to this the train simulator. No, it's not quite like Back to School Days. There are various different endings, but some of them are pretty fucked. Exactly. He's just a lonely single dad, looking for companionship, looking for something interesting in his life, because his boring fucking daughter won't shut the fuck up, going on and on about her fucking crush on Noah and all her stupid friends, one of whom shut the bed or something, I don't know. That's the most interesting thing I can remember. I can remember that there was bed shitting, but I can't remember the friend's name. And yeah, I mean, you know, if you were Daddy Spank with that level of daughter, you'd go out looking for hot and horny dad sex every night as well. Yeah, I think we've had both. I think during the Joseph we had the bad ending, didn't we? I think the bad ending is like she ignores you or something, just fucks off, and there isn't a party or something. Oh, good, it's crashed. God damn it, we're 0.72 miles from Norwich and it's crashed. Well, I mean, if that doesn't sum up the spirit of SWEARY Train Simulator, I don't know what does. That's just perfect. This is just perfect Train Simulator 2018. I have a pop-up on my screen saying failed to save dump file. We were near the end of the run and it's dead. So this time it wasn't going through a red signal that broke it. It was Train Simulator crashing. So that's it. I'm not doing it anymore now. That's it. We can talk and leave the screen up. That's fine. But it's not my failure though, is it? It's fucking Train Simulator's failure. Not even a train crash, just a software crash. It's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and watch some unacceptable anime, probably. That's another dirty little thing I'm into. And I will see you next week, hopefully. Friday? Hopefully Friday, for some Boom Daddy action. Then potentially next Saturday. Don't think I'm doing anything next Saturday that would prevent it from Train Simulator action. So do join me for that. Thank you very much for joining me for this. Apologies for the failure to get it going for like 30 minutes. And let's call it a night. Thank you very much, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.